7 o'clock,
Oh,
7:01. All right, stand for the pledge, please.
Miss Christine.
Terry, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
You got enough room? Okay.
That is the best seat, huh?
I'll move over if you want me to.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, for what it's worth, and they probably know things that we sent. One for her, one for you. That's the sewer. That's the water. That's the water. They look very bright because there's no. Did you kill the paper? No, kill the tree. I just wanted to show you something bright today.
Okay. Well, good.
All right, welcome.
Nice short meeting.
Hey, thank you. All right, 7 o'clock, we have events committee
Events committee.
presentation.
Okay.
Or trustee Mack.
Yes, it's a presentation by Micah from the events committee regarding the Washingtonville and Christmas regarding the Brotherhood Winery for wine tasting at these two events, correct?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Come on up, Micah.
All right. So, a couple weeks back, the winery started to do some wine tastings at the farmer's market. And the farmer's market is part of the events committee, and the events committee does more than just the farmer's market. So we also have the Washingtonville event, and we have the Christmas event, where we have an artisan market, just like we have the farmer's market. The same vendors usually go to those events and have like a fair at these, like a shopping fair at these events. So we wanted to actually, and we haven't like applied for anything yet, we just wanted to get a feel from the village if it's okay to bring the winery to these events, because these are like bigger events, to do the wine tastings at the artisan market there. So that's basically the question that I'm coming with.
All right, so you just said that they're already at the farmer's market?
Yes.
Did they give us an application?
The application, you mean that we filled out?
And everybody else filled out?
Well, not everybody else did, because when we had the meeting as the events committee to either go under the village or go on our own, I was under the impression that it was only needed if we were gonna go under the village as a farmer's market, which we ended up not doing.
But it's a vendor's solicitor's permit for the village.
Yeah, but we never, and where are our permit certificates, by the way, because we never received them. Anybody who filled it out never received their certificate.
We'll look into that, but
Because we filled it out, and the whole form didn't make any sense for any of the vendors at the market anyway, because it asked for a hair color, it asked for $100, it asked for all this stuff that they said, well, it doesn't really apply, we're looking to make a new form, so I didn't give any new vendors this form yet, not really knowing where we were gonna go with that form and what it was needed for.
as we dealt with the,
I thought Val made.
who was that other group that came in for date night?
That's the same, that must be some other people, well, other
Yeah,
people.
it
on
was
the
other
events
people.
Yeah.
Did they ever have that?
No, remember they wanted, you're just saying they wanted alcohol an hour, they
Right.
wanted
Right.
the brewery there.
Right.
And
Yeah, but that's selling by the glass. Is it different than wine tasting?
are they selling by the bottle?
Yes. So then we.
But they don't open them, right?
They don't open
They
them,
don't
so it's
open them.
just like wine tasting, like you would have at like, you know, like when, like sampling. You're not selling by the glass, and that's not the intent of the market either.
I don't know, I just think last year, we went through a big thing with alcohol on village property, and we agreed that we weren't gonna do it, we weren't gonna allow it, just for the liability involved. I mean, the winery has a wine tasting room, I'm sure they pay a lot of insurance.
Well, and we have we have a state permit, like we have a state, we're a designated farmer's market for this, so we had to get a state license for that. And we got that with New York State to just have wine tastings at the market.
From who?
From the Department of Agriculture.
Okay. And that might be a unique situation, farmer's market, but Washingtonville and the Christmas parade.
But the same vendor, so it's basically like.
It's a venue, yeah, but it's a different venue.
Well, the
it's in
Christmas
the-
market isn't, it's at the same location.
It's, yeah, but
It's
it's,
just- there's
the
other
other
things
one is in a
around it.
Vern Allen Park with, behind a big sign that says, no alcoholic beverages. So that's, you know,
Yeah.
that's
Can I
where,
just ask a question, just,
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just curious for everybody, is the tasting different than like, if they did just sell but didn't do the tasting, is that the same or different? I'm just saying, like, if they couldn't taste still, but they can still sell their bottles?
as long as it's not open.
Oh, I was just curious myself,
Yeah,
if
but
that's,
that's the thing.
but it helps
It's-
them sell to taste, but they
Yeah.
can still be able to, okay, gotcha, I'm just curious myself how that operates.
And even that, I don't know about liquor, SLA, the state liquor authority selling, you know, and how they're licensed, you know, sometimes when you
Well,
have,
it's just
like
more
when you
that I
have a
don't even,
restaurant,
like,
does it,
we have
does
to
your
research
SLA
everything that we
license
need.
allow you to bring that drink outside, you know?
So the question is not even like, we're willing to research whatever it is that we need to do. But the thing is, like, the winery hasn't applied for this yet, they're not even sure if they wanna do this, it's just more, can we research on this? Can we research to see if we can have wine tastings? Because I think it's important to bring in the winery as part of our community. And I think that is the goal of like bringing all the businesses together and the winery included, because it's one of the biggest draws to this area. And to make them, especially when you're having like a Christmas event, you know, you're thinking about holiday, you're thinking about spice wine. When you think of the fall, you think of ciders, you think, you know, everything that this region has to offer.
I've been saying that for 40 years, I lived here, that the winery should be
Yeah.
part of the village,
Yeah.
and it's never been, it's, for whatever
But-
reason.
But you
The
know
mac
what?
and, the mac and
There's
cheese.
there's a new president at the winery.
Yeah, okay.
And I think we're looking for small baby steps. We're not looking for anything big. We're not looking for huge. We're looking for small baby steps to repair that relationship. Because I've only been here for 4 years, but I think we have a good connection with the lady who does the wine tastings at the market. And we're all willing to work together and to get together and to create something new and exciting. So that's basically why I'm asking, like, is there a possibility where we can research? I mean, I understand that it has to do with rules, laws, and regulations, and we're willing to look into that, whatever that may be or whatever it needs to be.
In my opinion, personal, I think it's great that they want to be involved, and I think they should be involved in anything that we do in the village. I just have the issue of specifically Washingtonville. To me, that's really a kid's event. And
Yeah,
having
but it's
wine
also
tasting,
parents,
I don't mind if they
Yeah.
sell, if they can by law, sell
Yeah.
their bottles outside of Brotherhood without a special license, like you said.
Yeah, I don't,
If by
I
law,
don't,
which you can research, but as far as the wine tasting, I have an issue with that. I do, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't approve it. I don't know if you guys would.
chief, what do you, the state liquor authority, what's,
Thinking of an off-premise permit, probably one day like you do for caterings or something
to
like
sell
that.
closed bottles?
Probably wine tasting, I'm not familiar with the wine tasting law aspect of it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's something that
I think,
people do. But,
yeah, I think that's where your research would start, would be the state liquor
Well,
authority, and
see,
what law.
but my question is, like, would the village be willing to support us in this and to like, kind of like be, and I understand that some people feel that Washingtonville is just a kids event, and we're trying not to make it just for kids, it's a family event. So it's not just for kids, we're trying to like reach out to teenagers, we have an escape room, we're trying to find the young adults, we're trying to include everybody in this. And I think that is something, you know, we're not trying to look and make this into some kind of crazy concert. We're not ready for that. But just to kind of like have, because when we're thinking about an artisan fair, when I go to the 4th of July Cornwall event, they have wineries there and they do tastings. They have things there where they have like things for kids, but they have things for adults. The whole family comes, grandma, grandpa comes. you know, just to have something for everybody. And I think that is kind of like the goal of doing these events. It's not just for kids. You know, the Christmas parade is just for kids, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of like, that is, I think, our intention with these events.
No, we're not gonna, we're not gonna vote on it right now. I mean, personally, you could probably sway me with stuff, you know, stuff from the State Liquor Authority and
Yeah, I
for
mean, we have
a
to do a research on
a
it.
one-day event, that type of thing, you know. You know, wine tasting, I don't know how crazy we go with it, but,
No, not crazy at all. It's just one little tent.
I mean, the
It's
liability,
nothing big.
it's just the liability
Yes.
to the village is tremendous, you know. I mean, some people can't handle one glass of wine. They, you know, pop down one glass of wine, one little tasting or two tastings, get in the car, ride out of that parking lot and have an accident, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had the wine right there in Burn Allen Park.
But it can happen the same
It
at
can
the
happen
farmer's market. It can happen anywhere. It can
could,
happen at the winery.
yeah, but if, you know, if you have that other layer of insulation with, you know.
Yes, we have to look into like, see what we need on a state level and is there anything that we need on a village level? Because we talked about those permits before where I feel there's a lot of, confusion, right? We feel that our
Permits
vendors.
for, the permits for vendors.
Yes, does the village need this from all the vendors at all these events?
We
And is it
should.
the right kind of form? Because this form makes no sense to me for the events that we do.
Yeah, but it's a generic form, it's for any event, for any solicitor event. If it's for a real estate person that wants to go knock door to door, if it's
Yeah.
a solar company that wants to go sell solar panels, if it was somebody that wants to sell produce at the farmer's market, it's just, we're not gonna have 18 different forms geared toward, you know, just always selling jewelry, I'm selling soap, I'm selling
And is that
perfume.
$100 fee that applies on that
Did
form?
anybody pay a fee down there?
Nobody did.
Nobody did, we didn't charge anybody a fee.
Right.
We waived the fee.
Because you guys already took $25 or something?
Yeah, you had paid $25
So
to
we
the.
waived the 100
We waived
in lieu of
It's
that.
just, I just find it hard to give this to like a big professional organization like the winery and they have to fill out their hair color of who.
It's really strange, it's not just like a little office,
No,
like
it's
really
way
weird.
off.
It was very irrelevant information, we're like,
And we got
okay,
questions,
but
they're like, why do they need to know this? I'm like,
It was a little strange.
it was very odd. So,
Like I
and they said
said,
they were
like I
gonna
said,
adjust
they
it.
do have a
I mean, it just
wine
makes them
tasting
more
room
flexible.
there. You know, to incorporate the winery, make it part of that event where, you know, that event is not just at Burn Allen, it's at the winery, it's at Burn Allen. And you know what I'm saying? That type of thing, it's the whole village. Now you're bringing the whole village
I'm
in.
not thinking we're ready for that yet. I think that's like 10 steps ahead of, you know, like
I don't think so. I mean, back in the day, the winery used to have, they used to have dances down in the wine cellars. You wouldn't believe. It was
I'm
great.
sure, but they
That
stopped.
stopped.
Yes.
They had the grape stomping festival. That stopped. There was some connection with the village, but very little. Then when we had the mac and cheese, you know, you really didn't see anything on any of the placemaking, events pages, or any of the Washingtonville community pages about the mac and cheese event, although they did sell out. But I don't think that, you know, I don't know how to say it. They should be part of the village, but I don't think they really try to be. If they want to sell wine,
Of course they
at a
do.
wine tasting, they want to sell wine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real good. What else are you gonna do? You
Well,
know,
I think it's just baby steps, like I said. I think there has stuff that's happened in the past, and I wasn't part of any of that. I moved here 4 years ago, so I'm very happy not to have been part of that. But I think there's a reason why things stopped. You know, there's always reasons why things stop. And I think if you're looking to, I don't know what the past is, I'm just looking to like start a new relationship. And I think we have some right people there
Yeah, we're
that
trying
are
to get
very, we're
connection.
trying to
it's
get
good,
everybody
and
together.
again, it's the oldest, when I cooked at one point, and chefs used to say, oh, you live in Washingtonville? It's the oldest winery in America, and they do have some better wines now. I think back in the day, they weren't like they are now, but they had better wines, and they were like, wow, you live right there. Yeah, I live right there, but we don't have much to do with them. We was like, no, I says, I just think that the winery, you know, here, the first placemaking meeting the very first placemaking meeting, who was there? The president of the winery. And people, he says, when people come to the winery, he says, they come in with a bag from the corner candle store. He says, and pretty much that's it. He says, and they, they do the tour and they go to the wine cellar. And he says, if they ask me, where can we go to eat around here? And he said, I tell them you can get a good burger at Loughran's. Okay. What about Amada's, Betty's, S&J's? There were so many places in the village he could have said, have nothing against Loughran's, they do have good burgers, good food. But there were places right down the street from him, and he didn't offer those up. He says, he said, you can, all those people are in placemaking. He offered up, he didn't seem like he wanted to be part of the village. And I'm not using that as a reason not, I'm not using that as a reason not to say no.
No.
I mean, I think
I
that the
talked to
reason
him at
I'm
the
using to
farmer's
say no is that last year we went through a big thing with no alcohol
Yeah.
because of the liability on village
Yes.
property. Is it necessary? I don't know if it's necessary to have alcohol. We have to have wine tasting on Washingtonville to make it. Last year, did we have wine tasting last year? It was phenomenal.